we receive our brother Dave. We do so with confidence that God, the giver of life, will raise him to new and eternal life in the company of all the saints. Amen.
Dave Wagstaffe's story is often remembered with quiet sadness rather than controversy. His passing on August 6, 2013, at the age of 70, marked the end of a life deeply connected to English football. Before we continue, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more untold football stories. Wagstaffe passed away in Wolverhampton after a short illness. Earlier that year, he had suffered a heart attack in April. News of his death shocked many who remembered his dedication to the game. It was a moment that reminded fans how fragile life can be after football. Unlike many footballers remembered for scandals or dramatic falls, Wagstaffe's tragedy was rooted in quiet decline. He had lived away from the spotlight, and his later years football had given him purpose, but retirement often brings silence. His health struggles were not widely publicized. When the news broke, it felt sudden to the football community. Many former teammates expressed shock and sorrow. His death closed a chapter that never sought attention. Wagstaffe was a player respected for his work ethic and professionalism. He represented clubs like Wolverhampton Wanderers with pride. On the pitch, he was known for consistency rather than flash. That same attitude carried into his personal life. He never chased headlines or controversy. This made his passing feel even more sobering. Sometimes the quiet figures leave the deepest void. The heart attack he suffered in April 2013 was an early warning sign. While he survived that initial scare, it clearly took a toll on his health. Friends later revealed that he never fully recovered. His condition weakened him over the following months. Footballers of his generation rarely spoke openly about health struggles. Wagstaffe was no different. He faced it privately and with dignity. His death also reopened discussions about post-retirement care for footballers. Many players from his era did not benefit from modern medical monitoring. Years of physical strain often catch up later in life. Wagstaffe's passing highlighted this reality. It reminded fans that the physical cost of football doesn't always end at retirement. The game moves on, but bodies remember. Tributes following his death focused on respect rather than drama. Former clubs acknowledged his contribution with heartfelt messages. Supporters remembered him as a dependable and honest professional. There were no scandals attached to his name. His legacy remained clean and honorable. In a sport filled with extremes, that alone stood out. Sometimes dignity is the strongest legacy. Dave Wagstaffe's story may not dominate headlines, but it deserves remembrance. His life reflected a generation of footballers who gave everything without demanding recognition. His passing was tragic not because of chaos, but because of its quiet finality. It marked the loss of a man who served the game faithfully. Football remembers stars, but it also needs to remember servants, and Wagstaffe was one of them. Dave Wagstaffe's career took a heartbreaking turn late in his playing days, marking the first major tragedy of his professional life. After giving 12 dedicated years to Wolverhampton Wanderers, he moved to Blackburn Rovers in 1976. The transfer was meant to extend his playing career and offer a fresh challenge. Despite his experience, his time there was unstable, which spells and recurring physical issues followed. Football was already beginning to take a toll on his body. The warning signs were there. After a brief period at Blackpool, Wagstaffe returned to Blackburn Rovers hoping for one final opportunity. Expectations were modest but hopeful. He was no longer the explosive winger of his prime, but his football intelligence remained sharp. Sadly, fate had other plans. In only his second game back, disaster struck. A severe muscle tear ended his ability to compete at a professional level. It was sudden, cruel, and final. The injury effectively forced his retirement around 1981. There was no farewell match or gradual transition. One moment he was still chasing a comeback, the next his career was over. For a player whose life revolved around football, the emotional impact was immense. Retirement came not by choice, but by necessity. It was a quiet ending to a proud career. Like many players of his era, he had to adapt quickly. Life after football arrived sooner than expected after leaving the game. Wagstaffe remained closely connected to Wolverhampton. He managed several pubs, becoming a familiar and friendly face in the local community. Most famously, he ran Waggy's bar at Molineux Stadium. Supporters would often see him chatting with fans, sharing memories, and laughing about old matches. He never distanced himself from the people. Football had ended, but his bond with the club remained strong. He became a symbol of loyalty beyond the pitch. In January 2013, Wagstaffe received one of the greatest honors of his life. He was inducted into the Wolverhampton Wanderers Hall of Fame. The recognition celebrated decades of service, dedication, and class. It was a proud moment for him and his family. His fans applauded a man who represented the club with dignity. Few could have imagined what would follow next. The honor would tragically precede his final months just a few months later. In April 2013, Wagstaffe suffered a heart attack. The incident came as a major shock to those close to him. He underwent emergency surgery to unblock an artery and had a stent fitted. Initially, reports suggested he was recovering well. There was cautious optimism among friends and supporters. He remained positive and grateful for the support, but the damage had been serious. Despite signs of recovery, his health never fully stabilized. The months that followed were difficult and uncertain. Privately, his condition weakened. Publicly, he remained remembered as strong and resilient. On August 6, 2013, Dave Wagstaffe passed away at his home in Wolverhampton. He was 70 years old. The news sent waves of sadness through the football community. A beloved figure was gone. The response to his death was overwhelming. Hundreds of fans, former teammates, and friends gathered to pay their respects. His funeral was held on August 22, 2013, at St. Peter's Collegiate Church in Wolverhampton. The atmosphere was emotional yet respectful. A round of applause echoed in his honor. It was a fitting farewell to a man deeply loved. Waggy was remembered as one of their own. Wolverhampton Wanderers released a heartfelt tribute acknowledging his legacy. The club organized a minute's applause before a match against Gillingham. The team captain placed Wagstaffe's iconic number 11 shirt behind the goal. It was a powerful and symbolic gesture. Fans stood united in remembrance. The moment captured his importance to the club. His memory was etched into Molineux once more. Manchester City, another major club in his career, also released a statement. They expressed deep sadness and condolences to his family. It showed the respect he earned beyond Wolves. Wagstaffe's professionalism had left impressions everywhere. He was not forgotten by any club he served. Football remembered him as honest and dependable. Respect followed him, even after death. His family were deeply moved by the outpouring of love. His son, Scott Wagstaffe, spoke emotionally about the tribute at Molineux. He said he was the proudest man in the stadium that day. He thanked supporters for their incredible loyalty. The words reflected genuine gratitude. The family felt embraced by the football community. Their loss was shared. Wagstaffe's partner, Val Williams, also expressed heartfelt thanks. She said the family was overwhelmed by the kindness shown to them. Messages, memories, and support poured in from all directions. It helped ease the pain of loss. Football can often feel distant, but moments like this bring unity. Wagstaffe's legacy extended beyond goals and appearances. It lived in people's hearts. Close friend and Wolves writer Steve Gordos offered a deeply personal tribute. He described Wagstaffe as a special footballer and an even better friend. Gordos highlighted his dry humor and sharp wit. Off the pitch, Wagstaffe was known for his clever turn of phrase. He was quick with a joke but thoughtful in conversation. Those who knew him best felt the loss deeply. His presence was irreplaceable. John Richards, another Wolves legend, played a role in the funeral service. He read from the Bible, adding a deeply personal touch. It reflected the brotherhood among former teammates. Their bond extended far beyond football. Richards' participation symbolized respect and shared history. Legends honoring legends. That moment resonated with everyone present. Football friendships often last a lifetime. One of the most striking tributes came from Robert Plant, the former Led Zeppelin singer and lifelong Wolves supporter who was also a friend of Wagstaffe. Plant recalled his incredible ability on the wing. He spoke of Wagstaffe beating defenders even in snowy conditions. The image painted was poetic and vivid. It showed how unforgettable his talent was. Even decades later, memories remained fresh. Fans shared their own emotional tributes. One supporter called him one of my heroes. Another described him as the best winger never to play for England. These words reflected admiration mixed with regret. Many believed he deserved more international recognition. Regardless, he was a giant at club level. His impact was undeniable. Fans never forgot what he gave them. Dave Wagstaffe's life was marked by loyalty, resilience, and quiet dignity. His tragedies were never dramatic scandals, but deeply human moments. A career-ending injury, health struggles, a life that ended too soon, yet his story remains one of respect and love. He never chased fame, but earned it. Football remembers him not for controversy, but for character, and that may be his greatest legacy. Dave Wagstaffe's story reminds us that football legends are not only defined by trophies or headlines, they are remembered for loyalty, character, and the way they treat people long after the final whistle. Wagstaffe never chased the spotlight, yet it always found him through respect. His journey showed that true legacy is built quietly. Fans still speak his name with warmth. That alone speaks volumes. His place in football history is secure. What made Wagstaffe special was how deeply connected he remained to the game after retirement. Many players drift away once their careers end, but he stayed close to the club and its supporters. Whether inside Molineux or in the local community, he remained approachable and humble. He became part of everyday football life. That bond never faded. It strengthened with time. Wolves didn't just lose a former player, they lost family. His late recognition in the Hall of Fame felt perfectly timed, yet heartbreakingly close to his passing. It served as a reminder that appreciation should never wait too long. Still, The honor meant everything to him and those who loved him. It acknowledged a lifetime of dedication. Even in his final months, football gave him back what he gave it. Respect, gratitude, love. The tributes that followed his death showed the true scale of his impact. From clubs to teammates to global music icons, everyone had a story about Waggy. Each memory painted him as generous, witty, and fiercely loyal. These weren't scripted statements. They were heartfelt reflections. His influence stretched far beyond the pitch. Few players leave behind that kind of footprint. For supporters, Wagstaffe represents an era of football built on passion and authenticity. He played when shirts were worn with pride and loyalty mattered more than contracts. That spirit lives on through stories passed between generations. Younger fans may not have seen him play, but they know what he stood for, and that matters just as much. Football can be cruel, ending careers suddenly and lives quietly, but it can also be beautiful in how it remembers its own. Dave Wagstaffe's farewell proved that applause replaced silence, gratitude replaced grief. His legacy turned loss into unity. That is the power of football at its best, and his name will always be part of it. Dave Wagstaffe may be gone, but his presence remains at Molineux and beyond. In chants, in memories, in stories told over pints and match days, he lived as a footballer and left as a legend. Not because of fame, but because of heart. And legends like that never truly leave.